you. Thank you for being here. Give yourselves and the organizers and all the volunteers a round of applause. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us to ask for a ceasefire, to ask for an arms embargo, more than 10 months into this genocide. We work all week and we spend our weekend asking for ceasefire, asking for an arms embargo for more than 10 months now, because our tax dollars that are taken off our paychecks that we work so hard for are funding genocide. Democratic voters are on our side. 70% of Democratic voters support an arms embargo. 86% of Democratic voters support a ceasefire. How do we get to a permanent ceasefire? Arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. Not another bomb.
Not another bomb.
Not on our dime.
Not on our dime.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much to the organizers, JVP New York City, Adala Justice Project, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, New York City Democratic Socialists of America, and so many other organizations that did not make it to the handout that you received. Thank you so much for all of your volunteer work, and most of all, the National Uncommitted Movement that brought us here together to say, not another bomb. I'm Jihan, I'm gonna be your MC today. I'm not gonna speak much more because I'm not a speaker. So one thing I'm gonna ask for you to do is to sign the petition to tell Kamala Harris to support an arms embargo. You received this as you come in. We have a demand, we have a united demand. This is how we have achieved the will of the people during the civil rights movement, during the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. The people in power had to listen to us, and they will listen now. We will achieve a pre-Palestine. We've been fighting for more than 10 months. We don't have funding for childcare, for schools, for healthcare, and we're funding a genocide? Hell no. Shame! Without further ado, I'm gonna introduce our first speaker, Eva Borgward, who is the national spokesperson for If Not Now.
Thank you so much to all of the organizers. I'm Eva, I'm from If Not Now, and this is one of almost 90 actions in over 34 states across the country the weekend before the DNC in Chicago to say not another bomb! It's been 10 months of US-funded massacre in Gaza. 41,000 people killed, and we know the real number is much, much higher. 15,000 of them are children. This is the most bombs ever dropped on a population in the shortest amount of time in recent history. One of the fastest rates of starvation ever. embargo with my last name, and now there are just a handful of us left, and this is happening to entire Palestinian family lines today. And we know this doesn't help Israelis. It's not freeing the hostages. It's dragging the entire region toward a broader war. So who is this for? Netanyahu? AIPAC? CUFI? Christians United for Israel? The weapons contractors who profit off of death? The majority of Americans don't want this. Palestinians, Jews, our multi-faith, multi-racial movement, we don't want our tax dollars to be funding the bombs ripping children to shreds.
That's right.
We are asking the U.S. to literally uphold its own laws and not fund these atrocities. And yet, just this week, the Biden administration approved an additional $20 billion in weapons. You cannot call for a ceasefire and then send more fighter jets. You cannot claim to be putting on pressure and then send more bombs.
That's right.
That is why the demand across the country is for an arms embargo now! And so when Kamala Harris is running to be the most powerful leader in the world, we are saying we want her to do the obvious thing and say she's committed to not dropping another U.S. bomb in violation of U.S. and international law. And y'all, we have the numbers. The majority of voters are on the sides of life. In key swing states, people are more likely to vote for Kamala Harris if she supports an arms embargo. But a couple of weeks ago, Harris responded to protesters who were calling on her to stop the bombs and said, if you want Donald Trump to win, say that. Madam Vice President, I don't want Donald Trump to win. The question is, do you want Donald Trump to win? Do you want unity? Because this is unity. Palestinians, Jews, workers, students, calling on you to demand an arms embargo now. Harris Waltz, pick a side.
Harris Waltz, pick a side.
Are you with us or genocide?
Are you with us or genocide?
Harris Waltz, pick a side.
Harris Waltz, pick a side.
Are you with us or genocide?
Are you with us or genocide?
Stop the bombs, pick a side.
Stop the bombs, pick a side.
Are you with us or genocide?
Are you with us or genocide?
Bombs or ballots, you decide.
Bombs or ballots, you decide.
Are you with us or genocide?
Are you with us or genocide?
Workers, students, voters say.
Workers, students, voters say.
Stop Israeli arms today.
Round of applause for Eva. Thank you. Our next speaker is Rabbi Barat Elman from Jews for Racial Economic Justice.
Thank you. Wow, it is really inspiring and just beautiful to see all of you out here today and to know that this is being replicated in states across the country as we all gear ourselves for the Democratic National Convention and trying to push this platform. It speaks to how much support there is for ending this horrible massacre that we have been witnessing for 10 and a half months. My name is Rabbi Bara Elman. I'm a member of Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, and I am a rabbi for Ceasefire and have been since that organization was founded on October 20th, 2023. We did this because it was clear that Israel's response to what was a heinous attack by Hamas on Israel on October 7th was going to be not just disproportionate, but a true massacre of Palestinian civilians. But even then, we had no idea that we would see numbers like 41,000 civilians killed, and over 15,000 of them children, including newborn twins. We desperately need a ceasefire. And the best way to achieve that is through an arms embargo, which makes it impossible for Israel to drop more bombs. Let's be clear. The bombs that are dropping on Gaza come from us. Even one of our senators signed those bombs proudly, linking himself to the bombs that are dropping. That's why we are calling for the delegates at the DNC next week to demand that an arms embargo be part of the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's platform. יהי רצון מלפניך אדון השלום, שתבטל מלחמות ושפיקות דמים מן העולם, ותמשיך שלום גדול ונפלא בעולם, ולא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. May it be your will, O Master of Peace, that war and bloodshed cease, and that a great and wonderful peace fill the world. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, neither shall anyone study war anymore. This prayer, attributed to Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav and quoting the prophet Isaiah, is part of our Shabbat liturgy. It is a call to put down arms. It is a call for a ceasefire. It is a call for an arms embargo. The best way we Americans, whose tax dollars, as Eva said, are being used to fund Israel's military attack on Gaza can make this happen, is to call for and actually implement an arms embargo. This is a moral imperative to end the genocide, to save Palestinian lives, to pave the way for a future for both Palestinians and Israelis that lets them flourish and live in peace. Both the Talmud and the Quran teach that freeing captains is one of the most important compulsory deeds a community must do. In our spirit, we are also calling for the reuniting of all the Israeli hostages and all the Palestinian detainees in Israeli prisons to be released and reunited with their families. This, too, is a moral imperative. And finally, with this call for an arms embargo, the best route to a ceasefire, we are harnessing our energy to defeat fascism at the ballot box. Because we know that for thousands of voters in swing states, a platform that seeks to end the massacre of Palestinians and the physical destruction of Gaza is a prerequisite for their full-throttled support of the Harris-Walz ticket. They just want Harris to uphold international law and U.S. law and to turn the page on Biden's disastrous Gaza policy, which has just been the continuation of decades of American policy, wherein we claim that we can nudge the Israeli government by giving them funding, and yet they defy us again and again and laugh in our faces. This has been true with settlements, and it's been true with arms. I have been calling for a ceasefire since late October. I have marched to Washington. I have gone to the UN. I have spoken with the UN Secretary General. I have been arrested protesting outside Senator Schumer's office. This is so important, and we are so desperate. Every single day this delays are more Palestinian dead, and the hostages just as far away from release. So, not another bomb.
Not another bomb.
We are here. We are Muslim. We are Jewish. We are Christian. We are Hindu. We are Buddhist. We are secular. We are here, all of us here, for our moral values. We're trying to be divided by religion, by race. Do not believe the warmongers who try to divide us. We are all here for the same reason. And some of us are workers. Some of us are union members. Make some noise if you're a union member. If you're organizing your workplace. Make some noise. Yes. Now we have Daniel Krupp, who's the president of the Association of Legislative Employees, the New York City Council Staff Union, to talk to us from the perspective of labor power.
I want to start with a chant. We want justice. You say how? End the siege on Gaza now. We want justice. You say how? End the siege on Gaza now. We want justice. You say how? End the siege on Gaza now. Woo! Thank you so much to the Not Another Bomb Coalition for hosting and coordinating today's action, which has brought together labor unions and workers' organizations like mine, together with a wide range of Jewish, Muslim, socialist, and anti-war advocates. My name is Daniel Krupp, and I'm the president of the Association of Legislative Employees, America's largest union of legislative staff. We represent 400 staff at the New York City Council, and we're the workers who help pass the laws, pass the budget of the country's biggest city, and serve constituents in all 51 council districts, from the West Bronx to Southeast Queens and the South Shore to Bayside. We formed our union in 2021 and won our first contract this April. And what unions do are things like what we did. We doubled the minimum wage to over $30 an hour. We ended at-will employment. And we provided overtime compensation for the first time ever for hardworking council aides. Our journey as an independent union is a reminder of what is possible when workers get organized like workers are doing today. Like Rabbi Elman, who just spoke, I've had the opportunity to travel to Israel and Palestine. Mark Twain once said that travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. Those of us who have been to the West Bank have seen the impact the occupation makes every day on the lives of Palestinian children, youth, and workers. That includes students who are seeking their education, being regularly detained on their way to school. Palestinian children are also the only children in the world who are systematically prosecuted in military courts, with an estimated 10,000 Palestinian children held in the Israeli military detention system over the past 20 years, according to Save the Children. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Peace is not merely the absence of some negative force, but the presence of some positive force. Justice, goodwill, the power of the kingdom of God." As unionized New York City Council workers, we see every day how police surveillance, attacks on health, housing, and education, and environmental degradation are mirrored at home and abroad. The $20 billion in arms sales the U.S. just approved to Israel this week represents money not being spent to uplift the lives of working people, here or abroad. So in solidarity with trade unionists everywhere, ALE stands with Palestinian, Arab, and Jewish workers and trade unions, fighting for a better society for everybody in the region. We demand peace, that includes a permanent ceasefire, an end to the bombing, the mutual exchange of hostages held by Israel and Palestine, and the influx of urgently needed humanitarian aid into Gaza. And as the presidential campaign heats up, we cannot and will not forget our siblings in Gaza. The UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry already determined that Israel has committed war crimes and crimes against humanity, including starving a civilian population and targeting civilians. We will not stand by as a genocide unfolds. And the Palestinian General Federation of Trade Unions has called for us, their international union siblings, to expose the complicity of our governments in the war crimes committed against the Palestinian people and to apply pressure to halt military aid to Israel. In response this June, ALE became the first city worker union to endorse the divestment of our pension fund, NYCERS, from Israel. NYCERS holds $115 million in Israeli securities and bonds and funds the development of Israel's military might. We're talking weapons systems, white phosphorus, surveillance tech, and oil and gas exploration on occupied land. That ain't right! And just as the city was able to divest from Russia just weeks after the 2022 invasion of Ukraine, we must divest now. We must apply maximum pressure for the atrocities to stop now! As legislative staffers in the most diverse, largest city in the country, we have a responsibility to speak up and stop the violence. That violence has also redounded at home with an uptick in hate crimes in our communities that we serve every day. And we're opposed to all of that. We're opposed to the proliferation of violence in our society and demand the presence of peace. So we take action inspired by the work to divest $665 million from NYCERS from apartheid South Africa in the 1980s. The long history of the labor movement points in the direction of uniting with social movements, making change, just as we did, as was said, in Vietnam or to end apartheid in South Africa. So let's do it together. 1, organize your coworkers and your neighbors. And 2, relentlessly hold figures of authority to account. If you're in a union like me, get your union to join the National Labor Network for Ceasefire. There are over 200 unions involved, representing nearly half of all U.S. union members. Support divestment as well in your union. You don't have to wait for permission from your union leadership. The union is the membership. We don't allow our power to be taken away by union bureaucrats. We have the democratic right to be heard. So check out the City Workers for Palestine divestment campaign. If you're looking for resources, they're at NYC Workers for Palestine. And as was said to Vice President Harris, she said, if you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, she's speaking. We say, no, this isn't about wanting Trump to win. It's about wanting Gaza to live. So we will keep the pressure up as union members, guided by our North Star that an injury to one is an injury to all. Stop arming Israel's war crimes. Please do. Stay involved. Keep up with ALE. Keep fighting in your unions and your neighborhoods on the streets and demand our movement be heard. We can keep making change together as united working people. Thank you very much, and solidarity.